Good evening, Under 10 Raider parents. I'm Eric Perez. Coach Perez is your players will address me as, and you can call me Eric or Coach. Either one's fine. I just wanted to make this video so we can all get on the same page. The syllabus that I wrote up did take a lot of time, and it is very long. So with that in mind, I just wanted to make a video, kind of go over it. Fill in some of the blanks, kind of explain to you my reasoning behind what I have written down. Now, first and foremost, before we even get into any of the brass tacks of the season, I just want to make clear that we are wearing masks and practicing social distancing throughout the season. I ask that you please respect this because it is a specific request from the league. Make sure your child is wearing a mask, and please do wear a mask and practice social distancing as well. I don't like wearing masks either, especially when I haven't had a breath mint. But right now, that's the reality of youth sports right now. It's really important that we take all the precautions that we can, make sure that we have a season, make sure that nobody gets sick. It's just very important in my view. So the expectation is that everyone comes to practice with a mask on, social distancing unless you're in the same family. And please just do this. I know that we live in a time of political divisions and we all have different opinions about it, but that's really not something that should occur or be acted out on in a youth sports field and in that setting. So just to let you know a little bit about myself, I've been in the educational field for the better part of 17 years. I've taught high school for about 13 years. I was recently hired as a teacher at Willow Glen High School, which is in the district, the San Jose Unified District. And I really do not see any difference between teaching in the classroom and coaching sports. Like, I haven't identified a single difference outside of the subject. The only difference is, instead of maybe teaching English, which I've done for about 12 years, the subject is soccer. So I have experience coaching sports. I coached high school football. I've coached T-ball. I've coached AAA Little League. And this is my second year coaching under 10 soccer, this actual age group. It was just the older brother of my current player, who's my son. So just to really emphasize, I take teaching and coaching very seriously. I view my work as a volunteer just in the same way. And let's be clear, I am a volunteer. I'm giving freely of my time for the best possible season and the best possible outcomes for your child. I'm volunteering my time, and I view that in the same way as a doctor might view volunteering at a local health clinic. So I take this work very seriously. I take the responsibility that I have as your child's coach with the utmost seriousness, and I'm honored to do so. But just let's be clear, teaching is my profession, and I do know what I'm doing. I continually research the coaching curriculum during sports seasons, and I continually refine my teaching methods and practice. As far as my coaching environment that I create for your child, my emphasis is on fun, high repetitions, and failure-based learning. And what that means is this. I create a culture in which we really emphasize the importance of making mistakes. And what I mean by that is, and this is written down in the syllabus, meaning I go over 9 principles and I really hammer this throughout the season. And number 1, for players and parents and coaches, don't feel bad about your mistakes or those of others. Number 2, recognize that mistakes are the natural and necessary part of learning and the evolutionary process. One of the things that I will do is I will teach and reinforce the merits of mistake-based learning. One of the things that I want our kids to do is to learn how to become self-reflective, make sure that they are aware of the things that they do well, the things they need to work on, and to continually work towards improvement. Now, number 5 on the syllabus, not syllabus, but syllabus, is to create a culture in which it's okay to make mistakes and unacceptable not to learn from them. Now, I have a little asterisk on that one because number 5 tends to breed a little misunderstanding with parents. So I'm just going to be very clear. In terms of my coaching style, I do push very hard. And what I mean that is I'm unrelenting. I don't stop in terms of getting your child to improve, whether it is as a teammate, interpersonally, in terms of skill level on the soccer fields. I'm constantly working towards having each and every single one of your child work towards improvement. This is not in the sense of, oh, I'm only doing this so we can win. This is not a high school or professional sport. It is a rec league, but it is still important. And my emphasis is not on winning, but it is on the way in which our players play, the way in which they approach playing a sport, the way in which they learn how to improve, and also, as the old adage goes, it's not whether or not you win or lose, but it's how you play the game. And that's really the primary emphasis of this team. And I'll just tell you, I love to win too. And we obviously will try and win, but it's really not my marker of success. Number 6, observe the patterns of mistakes to see if they are products of weaknesses. So basically it's, a player can be the most skilled player in the world. That said, there's always something, especially at this age, for a player to work on. And so, I will very much identify the things that players need to work on and have them work on it. Pain plus reflection equals progress. Now, that's more of an adult idea. However, we do integrate that on this team in the sense that the season will not go perfectly. We'll have moments of frustration. We may lose, we may win. And, players will experience adversity, which probably a better way for, maybe a better word instead of pain. But also making sure we have our players really reflect on their role as a member of the team, reflect on their play, see the connections between effort and results. And that's really what that idea is hitting at. Again, it's on the syllabus. Number 8, create guardrails when needed. And remember, it's better not to guardrail at all. So guardrails, it would basically mean not asking a player to do way more than they can handle at the moment. However, there's going to be times where I'll put a player into a situation they may not be comfortable with, which is kind of what it is meant by taking away guardrails. And this is designed for our players to really learn from their experiences. The primary emphasis of my coaching this team is learning and improvement. And number 9, diagnose problems to get at their root causes. So this one is also hard to explain, but you may see it when I address teams after practices or games. We will actually look at things that might be causing problems to the team, things that are, hindering our development, all of those things. So it's hard to really kind of describe what that means as far as it goes for youth sports, a youth soccer program. So just number 5 on this, create a culture in which it's okay. It's okay to make mistakes, but it's unacceptable not to learn from them. And let me be clear on this. I am unrelenting when it comes to having players improve. It really is a it's a mindset and a philosophy that will be established on this team. And I think sometimes parents can sort of misunderstand that as far as the importance of it and why I'm pushing for it. So I can tell you, and I can all but 99.9% promise you, like, our players will have fun. I am a fun coach. I'm also something of a taskmaster when it comes to being on the field. And I can be somewhat, stern when it comes to having to enforce some discipline or getting our players to meet expectations. So, speaking of expectations, these are my expectations. It says from your children, but it actually meant for your children and for you. And this applies to me because I'm also a parent as well. Okay, but this is really the 5 most important expectations that I have, and I'm not forgetting them. And they're on this video. I really want to discuss this and take the time to do it because it's extremely important. Because these are things that will guide us aside from principle, from mistake-based learning. These are the 5 elements that will guide us the entire season, no matter how well or how poorly we do. So number 1, and this applies for me, this applies for you, the parent, this applies for siblings on the team, and especially applies to our players and how they relate with their teammates, is mutual and wholesale respect. So this means respecting their teammates, their coaches, their opponents, the referees, fellow parents. So just please know, under no circumstances do I tolerate disrespect. And I do have a bit of a short fuse, meaning I don't tolerate this behavior at all. I don't yell, I don't berate, nothing like that. But I will not only address behavior such as disrespect either to me or to teammates, not only will I address it with them, I'll address it with the parent, meaning you. And be an ally with this, not an enemy. I'm not out to get your child. Well, maybe I am out to get your child. I'm out to get them better. And I'm not out to get them to make some case about, oh, they're a bad kid. How dare they do this? I'll even tell you myself, when I was a youth sports player, I was very uncoachable. There's a variety of reasons behind that. But I eventually learned the importance of having mutual respect and really learning how to play on a team. So it's a mantra of mine as a teacher. I will never, ever, ever disrespect a student's dignity because I just won't do it. So I'm very disciplined when I come to teaching your child in a friendly and respectful manner. That doesn't mean that there's not clear guidelines behind player behavior. I had a player the first year of soccer coaching, and he was a very skilled player. And like with skilled players, he had very bad habits. He didn't understand the concept of working on things that that player didn't do well, such as defending, field vision, knowing when to make the extra pass, those kinds of things. But what I had found too was his attitude was very poor, didn't take to coaching, and then at one point kicked dirt on another player, told that player he didn't respect him. And at that point I had kicked the player off the field. And I will do the same if I run into any behavior like that with any of our players. So it's extremely important that your child understands the importance of respect. And just to kind of sum up on that, I did talk to the parent, and the parent was very receptive to my concerns. And I had also mentioned too, I had a recommendation in place for this player to go on to a higher academy. And I did mention that I would pull that recommendation, because any recommendation I give, I'm not going to recommend a player if they have a very poor attitude. And the player's attitude did improve after that, but I can promise you that that would not have changed were it not for the parent support. So I just want you to know, your child will not be successful in this program if you're not behind it. So I really, really ask you to do that and be supportive of what we're trying to achieve as a team, because you are parents and you're also part of the team. So you do have a role to play, and that role is support, and it's extremely important that you do that. So also, last note on that, a big part of why mutual respect is a big thing is I'm really preparing your kids on how to properly conduct themselves when they advance up in levels of sport. I'm not saying, oh, your child should play soccer and this is the only way to approach this sport. I'm trying to prepare them for whatever sport or sports they really like and how to relate as teammates and on and off the field. Number 2 is be coachable, meaning I do expect your players to take coaching. I am a teacher. I research everything that is needed to be known for players of this age. I'm not a very good soccer player myself. I played football, tackle football for 8 years, so I really spent very little time playing soccer on a competitive level. So I do want you to remember there's a difference between being a player and being a coach. Not all the best players make the best coaches, and certainly the best coaches don't always make the best players, because coaching is teaching and it's a different thing. It's not playing. You do have some credibility when you're a great player and then you move into coaching, but that credibility only lasts for as long as you can sustain good coaching, which often isn't very long, meaning you can be the best player in the world, but if you can't coach players, they'll have a hard time following you. So number 3, show up on time. This is regarding practice and games. I do expect parent communication if a player is going to be late, either for practice or for a game, with as much advance notice as possible. Soccer is a very strong team sport, so when players are late or not being responsible to the team, it does affect the quality of our play. So number 4, show up to practice and games. Now, if your child can't make a game or practice, please let me know as far in advance as possible. I plan practice and games with your child in mind, meaning I think about your kids. I think about the things they need to work on. I do spend a lot of time trying to figure out the math in terms of minutes for everyone to get equal playing time, and it can get very complicated. And if I budget time for your child to play and they're not there, it really does mess up the game plan. And I really, really feel disrespected when that happens. So please let me know as soon as you can if you are not going to be at the game. And I really feel that, 9 out of 10 times you would know in advance. Things happen at the last minute, that's fine, but I really do believe that happens a lot less than sometimes is stated. So just please let me know. Please communicate with me as far as attendance, because I do spend about 20 hours a week with planning practice, running practice, anything that has to do with league matters. And this is on top of working and being a parent like you guys. And just to be very clear again, I'm a volunteer, okay? So please do not lose sight of that. I'm a volunteer and I'm a parent just along with you guys. And so I really, 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 really need you to be cognizant of that, especially in interactions with me. As a teacher, it's inevitable that you're going to have negative experiences with parents. And in 17 years of being in education, I've dealt with parents of every psychological spectrum I can think of. So I can just tell you that if we have negative interactions, it will go very poorly, and it will mostly go poorly for you. So just be aware of that. I'm a volunteer. I'm not an employee. I will speak to you with respect, the utmost respect in the world, and I expect the same. And if I don't receive that kind of respect, then we're going to have some serious problems. So that's not a threat. I just want to make that clear, just so there's no surprises down the line. And number 5, show up. That's it. Just show up. Players, just do your best. That's all I ask. Just make the best effort. This is for everyone involved, including myself. I'm in the process of moving. I'm going to start a new job on Friday, which is over at Willow Glen. And so I do not anticipate everything running smoothly in the first couple weeks. I don't know the kids. It's been a while since I've coached soccer. Last year we missed a season. So my stress level will be very high in the first few weeks. So I can just let you know that in advance. Along that line, I promise you, I will make mistakes as a coach. But being a role model for your child as their coach, I do learn and improve upon it. And when I make mistakes, I don't hide them from the kids. Like I'll tell them when I've made mistakes, that if they can understand the type of mistake I made, I'll tell them. It's really not something that I feel is necessary to not discuss, because I think what that does is it helps create a culture on our team where we can really discuss, how we are all performing as a team. And this comes from a place of frustration, despite that caveat of promising you that I will make mistakes. Often, I usually have a parent or two critical of my coaching practices. And I've seen and heard it all as a teacher and as a coach. And I don't necessarily respond to baseless criticism. One thing I can tell you about coaching is it's harder than it looks. It really is. And I'm not making assumptions about anyone of you guys. I just have experience, even as a parent, sitting, watching, my youngest son who's on this team play Little League. And it's a league where they didn't understand rules quite so much. And I wasn't coaching the team, but I'd see a couple players making mistakes that were age appropriate. And I'd hear parents criticizing the coaches, and that kind of thing just infuriates me, because it's so much harder than it looks. That said, if you have concerns, absolutely, please. I am all ears, but you please do it in a respectful manner. I will do the same. Please respect also what we're trying to accomplish as a team, which is really getting our kids having fun, learning the value of teamwork, learning the value of being imperfect and the value of making mistakes, and learning how for them to teach themselves how to get themselves to improve. Meaning one of the things that I'm doing as well is trying to get them to start thinking as independent learners. So that said, I'm absolutely here for your child. I'm here for you. I love teaching. Fair warning, my methods can be pretty unconventional. You may see me raise my voice when the team is slacking or whatnot. It's not yelling, but I'm not a Pollyannish kind of coach. I do follow principles from the Positive Coaching Alliance, which is 2 positive statements for 1 correction. And I do try and follow that. But I'm not perfect in it. And I do coach hard. The kids do respond. So I can promise you those things. I am an experienced educator. I love what I do. And I love the relationships that I foster with my players and your children. So there are few greater privileges for me. And there's no greater privilege for me as a coach and a teacher for that to occur. A couple of business items, very important that we discuss. We need team parents. Typically, we say we need a team parent, but we need a team parent. If more than one parent maybe wants to team up to be that, please, I need someone to volunteer for this. Anything outside of teaching, coaching, planning practices, running practices, talking with you guys about your kids, managing games, making sure schedules are set, making sure things that are communicated need to be communicated in terms of what's on the field. Anything outside of that, I don't want to touch. So I really need a team parent or team parents to help out with this. Please contact me, either email or text message, which I'll give you my number very shortly if you are interested. Someone please step up for this. And all parents, you will need to volunteer sometime. And what I mean by this is we do have dates set by the league to line the fields with chalk. I need parent volunteers to step up with this. I feel that I do enough as is, so having to go out to one of the fields and line the fields with chalk, I think it would be appreciated if a parent or two can step up and help with this. It's not an every week thing. I think we only really get assigned twice a year, but it could be more, I don't know. And it really doesn't take that long. That said, I'd like a parent to come in or parents come fulfill that responsibility. Whoever steps up as team mom will go ahead and make those assignments. Coaching volunteers. So if anybody wants to be an assistant, let me know. Let me know how much time you can give. If you do want to be on the sideline with me during games, you will have to pass a background check. If you're interested, let me know. I can give you the specific details behind it. In terms of time commitment, I'm open to what you can give. However, if you are willing to commit, I do want to know what the commitment is and if you could keep to it. Because it is important for our kids to have continuity of their teachers. So I definitely want a coaching staff that's going to be consistent, whether it's once a week, twice a week, which is our practice schedule. Whatever the routine is, I do need a time commitment. I do need it to be specific. So just let me know if you're interested. Parent conduct during games, you're not allowed on the coach's sidelines or back line during games. During practice, if you're not a coach, please don't stand on the field and start coaching your kid. Like, I understand, wanting to really observe and see how they're doing. And I just don't do it, please. If I have to say something, I'm going to be really angry about it. So, stand back, leave the coaching to the coaches. If that is something that you feel is not a cool thing for me to say, well then, volunteer to coach. And please do not berate the refs during the game. Believe me, my first year coaching in soccer, I used to argue with the refs. So I get it, believe me. It doesn't affect the players in a positive manner. So I can promise you, I get it in terms of frustration, but we have to model good sportsmanship for our kids. If we hear it from other parents and they're behaving in if the parents from the opposing team are behaving in a bad way, for lack of a better word, and if it's getting outrageous, let me know. I'll talk to the other coach about it and see what the response is. But hopefully we're looking at some supportive environments from the parents. Just remember, you're part of the team, so it really is important that you represent yourself well to the utmost extent that you're able. Nobody's perfect, believe me. I made a lot of mistakes on the sidelines that I am not proud of my first year, but I did learn from them. I've reflected on that process and have improved in that regard. There's nothing like seeing your kid out on the field competing. There's nothing like it. So believe me, I can see where emotions might run high. And these games are quite competitive if you're not familiar with this league. So one thing with parent contact, I hate phone calls. Like, I absolutely hate them. The only call I'll take is from my son's mom. Otherwise, I screen all calls. If we do need to talk on the phone, I'm absolutely fine with doing it. Just be aware that I don't like it. And we will need to schedule like a set time with which we have a phone conversation. You can also see me after practice if there's some stuff you want to discuss. Parent help. I do need help with setting up the fields before practice. So if you happen to be there and you want to just kind of help me throw out some cones or move the goals, it's really easy. It just helps me kind of set up practice and get started right at 6. I do appreciate it. Usually at the end of practice, I have the kids clean up. So usually that's taken care of. But if you want to help too, especially if you need to talk to me after practice, then that would be appreciated as well. So my cell phone is on the syllabus. I'm not going to say it out here since it's on YouTube. So my cell phone is on the syllabus. Go ahead and check it. I use a parent thread that's very effective for me to use. So if you'd like to be on it, please, during practice, I'm going to print out the last page for everyone. It's going to have your name. If you want to be on the thread, please write down your cell phone number. If it's for mom and dad, go ahead and write down both numbers. That's great. Brother or sister, no. Actual player, absolutely not. Grandparents, uncles, no. Parent, guardian only. I do ask that you sign the third page of the syllabus just for my records. It's not a legal contract. It's just I want to make sure that we're all clear on the direction of the season and where we want to take it. And to really, really remember that this is about the kids. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about the kids having fun. The last 2 years have been hard on them with COVID, just the current climate of what's been going on. So it's really important that we set our differences aside and we really get behind our kids, no matter whatever we believe in terms of politics, because I know it's a very sticky issue. No matter what we believe, let's just please leave that at home and really set aside our differences and remember we're all here for the same things. And I really, really do want a positive experience among the parents and especially with the team. So if there are any questions, just go ahead and email me. If you want to be added to the text thread, make sure that you write your name, number, and sign the third page. I'll have them printed out. If you can go ahead and just, fill it in during practice, and then, I can collect it at the end. Do that. You can also just look at the syllabus, text me even before then to just say, hey, this is so-and-so and so-and-so's dad. Can you add me and my wife at these numbers? I'd be happy to. Please save everyone as a contact so we know who is speaking. The thread is mostly just for soccer business, so I'll try and be very brief, which I'm really not that brief when it comes to text messaging and 3-page syllabuses. So I will do everything I can to be brief, kind of just stick to soccer business. Anything aside from that, if you have questions, let me know. I'm sure there's a number of things that I'm forgetting to mention. So with that said, I will see your kiddos tomorrow, which would be Wednesday at 5:50 at Turrell Elementary. Go ahead and Google it if you don't know where it is. It's part of San Jose Unified, the elementary school. Please have them there at 5:50. I'm really going to go very short on the introductions with the kids, and then we're just going to get right to it because we have practice this Wednesday. Monday, Labor Day, we will not have practice on Labor Day. So we are going to have one practice a week for the first 2 weeks, considering we didn't have practice on Monday. So after that, it's going to be Monday and Wednesday, Terrell at 6, and we run till 7:30. And we run until 7:30, meaning we don't stop until 7:30. So you're probably getting your kid in the car probably around 7:45, okay? So thank you so much, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I look forward to it.